Neighbors kept bitching about my Christmas decorations, so I kept adding to them. Last November, I started putting up my Christmas lights like I did every year. Just some basic white string lights around my house, and a couple of inflatable decorations on the lawn. But apparently my next-door neighbor Janet thought even that was too much. She knocked on my door 3 days after I put everything up, complaining that my lights were too bright and shining into her bedroom window. I explained that they were the same wattage as everyone else's, and offered to angle them differently, but she wasn't having it. She wanted them completely gone by the weekend, or she'd call the homeowners association. That weekend, Janet left a passive-aggressive note in my mailbox about how some people have no consideration for others, and how Christmas decorations should be tasteful, not tacky. She even underlined the word tasteful 3 times. I crumpled up the note and decided she could kiss my ass. So I went to Home Depot and bought twice as many lights. I covered my entire front porch, wrapped every tree in my yard, and added some blinking ones for good measure. If Janet wanted to play the Christmas decoration police, I was going to give her something to really complain about. Sure enough, 2 days later she was back at my door, this time with her husband Rick. They both looked pissed and started lecturing me about property values and neighborhood standards. Rick even had the nerve to say that my house looked like a casino. I just smiled and told them I was really getting into the Christmas spirit this year. The next morning, I found a formal complaint letter from the HOA in my mailbox. Apparently, Janet had filed a grievance about excessive holiday decorations creating a public nuisance. The letter said I had to tone it down or face a fine. I read through the HOA rules that night and discovered something interesting. There was no actual limit on Christmas decorations, just a vague clause about maintaining community aesthetics. That's when I decided to go nuclear. I drove to every Christmas store within a 50-mile radius and bought everything I could fit in my truck. Giant inflatable Santa, 3 reindeer, a snowman family, candy cane pathway lights, projector lights that made snowflakes dance across my house, and even one of those huge inflatable snow globes with Santa inside. I spent nearly $2 grand, but it was worth every penny. By the time I was done, my front yard looked like the North Pole had exploded. Cars were slowing down to stare. Kids were begging their parents to drive by our street, and the local news even did a story about the house that went overboard for Christmas. Janet and Rick stopped coming outside during the day, but Janet wasn't done yet. She started leaving anonymous complaints with the city about fire hazards and electrical violations. Code enforcement showed up twice to inspect my setup, but everything was up to standard. The inspector even complimented my cable management, so I added more stuff. Motion-activated decorations that played Christmas carols whenever someone walked by, a giant inflatable Grinch, and a whole nativity scene complete with live sheep I borrowed from my cousin's farm. The sheep were only there for 1 day, but Janet called animal control anyway. 3 weeks into December, other neighbors started joining in. The house across the street put up a massive light display that synchronized with music. The family next to them added a 12-foot Christmas tree made entirely of lights. Even the grumpy old guy at the end of the block hung up some garland. Our street became the Christmas destination in town. Janet tried to organize a petition to get the whole block cited for violating noise ordinances, but she could only get 2 signatures, hers and Rick's. Everyone else was having too much fun with the Christmas war I'd accidentally started. The best part came on Christmas Eve when Janet stormed over to my house, screaming about how I'd ruined her entire holiday season and made their house look pathetic compared to everyone else's. She was so worked up that she backed into my inflatable reindeer and fell flat on her ass in front of about 20 people who were taking pictures of my decorations. Kids started laughing, parents were trying not to crack up, and someone definitely got it on video because it ended up on TikTok the next day. Janet scrambled to her feet, red-faced and covered in fake snow, and marched back to her house without another word. After that night, she never complained about my decorations again.